Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Beauty of Language. So today in this video I'm going to talk about the summary of the story The Elevator written by William Slater. So before starting the video, just a few reminders that if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe it, and also if you haven't subscribed it yet, to get the regular updates, and if you want to listen to the whole explanation in Hindi, then please visit my channel Beauty Bharadwaj. I have explained it all in Hindi there. Even though I don't suggest that, but still if you want, for your convenience, I have put it there also. Subscribe to that channel also to get the regular updates. Since many of you have said that to make a long video on the story The Elevator by William Slater, I have already put the shorts on my channel. If you haven't watched it yet, do watch it. The line by line explanation of the poems, main themes, poetic devices, all have been uploaded in your syllabus ICSE class 10th, and videos on drama Julius Caesar have also been uploaded, act 3, 4 and 5 for now. 1 and 2 I'll do it later for class 9 students. Starting the story, and also I have made this video in such a way so that you don't have to go through the text in the book. I have covered everything in this summary in this video. Suppose if you want to study quickly a day before the exam, just go through the videos, you will get the idea of everything that is happening here. So Martin is a 12-year-old boy who moves with his father, who shifts with his father into a flat in an old building. So this building has a very old elevator. This elevator, it can carry only 3 people at a time, and Martin is scared of elevators. Why? Because he feels that it might fall or suddenly stop. Well, to be honest, I too feel scared of elevators deep down the line. So the fear of elevators are natural, quite natural. So the elevator also, apart from the fear which is already having, the elevator, it also looks very old, very creepy, okay, dim lights, dirty walls, small space, loud and creaky door. And why door has been mentioned here? Because earlier the elevators were one collapsible gate and then you had to close the gate. Now we just have one door just closing and that's it. But in old buildings today also, if you'll see, you'll have to close one gate and then the second gate. So in the same way, this elevator was also that time. Martin, now you can say that if you are afraid of elevator, then you can use the stairs. But stairs were even worse. The staircase, it was completely dark, no windows, no lights. So one day what happened? He even tried to climb the stairs instead of going by the elevators. But the echo of his footsteps, it made him feel like someone was following him. So by the time he reached his home on the 17th floor, he was gasping for breath. Anyone would be, okay, 17th floor, you can imagine. So his father asked him with a frown face that, why don't you use the elevator? And the way he answered, it sounded as if he was trying to say that you are not only skinny, you are not only weak, you are not only bad at sports, but you are also a coward. Now, so he started taking the elevator from the next day. He told himself that he will have to be used to it just as he is used to bullying at school. So this line, it shows that Martin is bullied at school and has never said anything against it, just made himself used to that thing. So in the same way, now he's trying to deal with the elevator thing also. But Martin's fear of elevators, it did not go away. So when he used to be alone, he was always worried that he would get trapped inside. And when other people used to be inside, he felt very uncomfortable, okay, standing, because it was a small elevator, so everyone had to stand close. And he did not like the way people tried to look at each other and stare into nothing. You must have also experienced it, right? That if many people are there, you have to stand in a close circle, right? So someone is looking here, someone is looking there. So that he did not like much. Now one day what happened, that while going down in the elevator, it stopped at the 14th floor. And then a very fat old woman entered. She was wearing a green coat and had a not so friendly looking face with very small sharp blue eyes. Okay, she was so big that Martin, he got squeezed into a corner. Already it was small. Now the lady was so big that there was not space for even 2 persons. So instead of standing facing the gate, See, suppose you get inside the elevator, what you do at first? You turn in front, okay, towards the gate. So instead of facing the gate, she turned and stared at him continuously. Martin looked away, but then she kept staring and he couldn't understand why. Once he even tried to look at her to check if she was staring or what. And then when he saw her, she was still staring. So Martin was he was wondering that what is she going to do next? Then she actually did nothing. What did she do? She just stared at him, breathing loudly. So when the elevator it reached the ground floor, Martin waited for her to leave first, because obviously there was no space for him to come out first. So as soon as she left, he rushed out and ran all the way to school. So he kept thinking about her, wondered if she lived in that building, and he did all the calculation that if she were a resident, he felt that he would have noticed her before, and if she were a visitor, then it was too early for her to be leaving the building at 7:30 in the morning. So after school, Martin still felt nervous about using the elevator again. But he also felt embarrassed that he was scared of an old woman. At max, what she would do in an elevator, okay? But then, fear is fear. He entered the elevator. He hoped that it would go straight up to his floor, 17th floor. But it stopped at the 3rd floor. The same green coat, the same piggish eyes, and the same woman. She entered again. Now Martin, in a very shaky voice, told her that the elevator is going up. So she nodded and then she pressed 18th, okay, the top floor. So as the elevator it started going up, it shook and the woman started staring at him again. Since it was old elevator, so you must have experienced that old elevators, they do shake a bit. So the woman started staring at him again as she was doing in the morning also. Now Martin, he started analyzing her movements, that earlier she entered on the 14th floor. Now she was on the 3rd floor, and then she is going to the 18th floor. So he wanted to get out at the 7th floor itself, and then he wanted to take the stairs, but since the lady was standing in front of him, so he couldn't reach the buttons without brushing against her. Okay, brushing, you understand, no? ऐसे टच होते हुए इसके बगल से. But he did not want to do that, so he stayed. Now when the doors opened, he squeezed past her to get out. He felt that, oh my God, she knew that, now she knew that he lived on the 17th floor. Now Martin told his father about the strange woman and asked if he had seen her. Then his father was watching TV at that time and didn't take it seriously. When Martin said that he met the woman twice and she was staring at him both the times, then his father, instead of trying to understand the whole situation, what did he do? He scolded him and told him to stop being silly and grow up and act like a man. He said that, are you going to be this timid your whole life? So Martin went to his room, cried quietly, and he fell asleep. His father knew that he must have been crying anyway. So the next morning Martin woke up and the whole night he could not sleep properly, and so he went to take the elevator again, and he saw that the woman was already inside as if she was waiting for him. When Martin saw her, he froze in fear and stepped back. Okay, the woman smiled as the elevator doors closed. Now Martin, he completely panicked, okay, and he started running down the stairs. As we already know that it was already dark there, okay, even darker. So he couldn't see the stairs, he tripped and fell and fractured his leg. When his father came to know about it, he was very irritated and he did not speak anything to him on their way to hospital. And now he had to walk on crutches, you understand, no? Now what happened, that the option of going down the stairs was already eliminated, okay, there was no question of going from the stairs. So now Martin thought that, why did the lady smile? Did she know that this was going to happen? We don't know why did the lady smile, what was lady's intentions, but since Martin had her fear in his mind, so he felt as if she must be thinking this, she must be planning that, she must be knowing that. Constantly these thoughts were coming in his mind. On the way back, Martin felt very relieved because he thought that he will not have to face the woman because he was with his father. Okay, and also there was no space for her because it was already for 3 people and 2 were already there, and one, that lady would not fit. Okay, so even if she were there, then his father was there with him. He will see her and then he will understand him finally and will believe him. And also he would be resting for the next few days, so he felt safe that he will not have to go through the elevators for the next few days since he was not allowed to walk. But his father, he got out at the 9th floor saying that I have to visit Mrs. Ullman, I had promised her, I'm going, and he left. Martin asked him to stay, that please, I also want to visit her, but then his father refused, and even there also he scolded him for being scared. So since he was on crutches, so he could not move quickly, so he couldn't stop the elevator. The elevator stopped at 10th floor, and again the fat woman with the same piggish eyes, same green coat was waiting there. She entered the elevator and said, "Hello, Martin," and laughed and pressed the stop button. And the story ends here, leaving the reader to imagine what happened next. Okay, so that was the whole story about the elevator by William Slater. So in this story, the main themes are basically fear, anxiety, and the feeling of being trapped. People have this fear. At one phase of time, I was also kind of afraid of dark. I could not go into other room when it was completely dark. I had to, even if I went, I just ran and came back from there. Okay, so at some point of life, or some people, or everyone has got some kind of fear in their life. They are afraid of something. Martin had these fears. So Martin's fear, it keeps growing, especially because his father, he doesn't take him seriously, and he had to deal with all these things going on in his life alone, and that is why he felt lonely and unsafe. The elevator, it becomes a symbol of how powerless he feels, like he has no control over what is happening. The mysterious woman, the woman with the green coat and piggish eyes, and the unclear ending, okay, the cliffhanger which is there at the end, it makes the story even more tense and scary. And was it actually the lady planning something, or it was just overthinking of Martin? So that was all about the story, The Elevator. I'll see you in my next video with the explanation of another story from Treasure Trove in ICSE class 10th. Till then, bye bye, take care.